up, everyone? It's your girl Shay here. Welcome to my channel if you are new, and welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. And as you see by the title of today's video, I'm talking about a pretty interesting topic within manga. So I actually originally have found this topic on Twitter, where I don't remember your Twitter name, but there was someone that popped up on my Twitter timeline. Basically, they tweeted a tweet that was pretty much talking about, should the demographic sayings or the demographic terms for shonen and shoujo still exist, or should they basically be gotten rid of due to the fact that sometimes this can cause stereotypes where some people don't exactly decide to read these types of manga because of them thinking that they're more so grouped for boys or more so grouped for girls. And basically this person quote tweeted it, and then I just found this topic extremely interesting. So I basically went online to search where this article had came from or where the discussion had came from, and I ended up being led to an article by Anime News Network where they pretty much talked about this. And I of course will link the article down below if you want to read the article for yourself. It's actually a pretty interesting read, and I kind of understand what they're trying to talk about. So I'm basically going to talk about what this article basically had to say about the topic, and of course give my own opinions about it. Now, like I said, just mentioned, this is purely just my opinion, so feel free to comment below your opinions on what you feel about this topic. So basically the article went on to explain that using terms like shoujo, josei, and shonen mostly aren't really genres, even though a lot of people want to say that they are, but in reality it's really just a demographic that is basically what is marketed towards these particular mangas. So like, for example, a lot of us know that shonen manga is very much marketed towards boys, whereas shoujo, of course, is marketed towards girls. That's basically what that means. And a lot of people are saying they're finding that even though that's the demographic, there's actually so many other subgenres within that demographic that it's actually a lot easier to just no longer use these terms and use terms that are very much used in the US already, like YA, which of course is young adult, new adult, romance, sci-fi, and things like that, instead of grouping things by demographic. Mostly because this can cause people where they don't want to read certain manga because of it being grouped in the shoujo demographic. And also they're saying that josei seems to now mostly be grouped into with shoujo itself, even though because they feel that it's something that girls more so read. And so basically that's pretty much what the article goes on to talk about. Later on in the article, they do talk about some translations and things like that, which I'm not going to get into, but I just found that particular part of the article extremely interesting because I know that for myself, and they also go on to explain this, that a lot of people that are already very much into manga or into anime are very much used to these terms and really don't think anything of it. But if you're someone who's new to it, you might be a little bit more confused, or you might not know what you're really getting yourself into, since things like shoujo and shonen don't completely always talk about what the particular writing style is, but it does go on to mention that using these terms does pretty much say not just a demographic, but also pretty much what typical tropes you're going to see within this manga, which can be at times helpful. Now, that's basically what the article goes on to explain. They do go on to mention that some of them who are already very much in the manga and anime community, they talk about their experiences having to learn these terms, like having to go online and do research, or having to, look up what these terms really pretty much mean. And they're saying the internet for these things is very helpful, but what they're basically trying to go on to explain is that using terms more so used in the US can pretty much be helpful for people who are newer to manga or newer to anime, and that maybe using these terms can sometimes turn people off in wanting to get into manga or anime. I don't completely agree with that part, only because many of us have heard and have seen that manga is really starting to take off, and a lot of people are starting to read a lot more manga than they ever have before. So I don't think these terms are stopping people, me personally. Now that gets into my opinion on this topic. So my opinion is that I understand what they're trying to say, but I don't think it's something that needs to be done industry-wide. and let me go on to explain. I feel like industries like the manga industry, like Viz and things like, like Funimation or anyone that pretty much deals with distributing manga doesn't need to go on and use terms that are typical in bookstores like YA, sci-fi, romance, and so on and so forth. I feel like using the terms of shoujo, shonen, and josei are perfectly okay because I feel like that's how it should be marketed. But I feel like if you're someone like a journalist, a blogger, or someone who is more so within the sphere of recommending stuff, so you're not a part of like Viz or anything else like that, I think at that point it is okay if you want to split things up a little bit more, because if you know that you're getting a lot of new readers or a lot of people that are of particular age groups, that could be a good way to separate a lot of these mangas based on that aspect. So for example, if you're someone who owns a small like bookstore or a comic book shop and you're like, okay, well, I want to recommend some shoujo manga to a few readers, but I see that these customers are people of a younger age group, I'd rather split this up among the shelves instead of it being like shoujo or shonen or whatever to like young adult, new adult, great for kids and stuff like that. And I feel like that is where those kinds of clarifications can be great. So like, for example, if you're someone in the YouTube sphere like myself, maybe using the terms of shoujo or shonen could be greater explained, but also you could of course use the typical terms that are used in the US for anyone new that's coming to your channel, where you want to go on to explain and recommend certain manga based on that particular age group or what you think will be best for kids or teens or best for adults. And I feel like that is okay to do. Now, do I think the entire industry needs to change and use this? No, because of the simple fact that, just like someone else brought up, it's very easy to look up these terms online and be able to decide for yourself. Now, do I think that using terms like shonen, shoujo, or josei is causing people to become kind of, I don't want to say prejudiced, but kind of stereotype these terms because of the demographic that they're supposed to reach? Not really. And that's because a lot of us know of guys and girls that interchangeably read shoujo, josei, and of course who also read shonen. I myself actually grew up, as far as like anime is concerned, mostly watching shonen anime because that was what was on TV for me at the time. Now, when it comes to manga, I do gravitate more so towards shoujo manga as a whole, but that doesn't mean I don't read my share of shonen manga. One of the most recent shonen manga that I had actually read was, of course, like My Hero Academia and My Hero Academia Vigilantes, and of course I've read like Bleach and I've read Naruto, a lot of the main ones that a lot of people are reading nowadays. But I'm not going to say that seeing those terms have turned me off from me wanting to read them just because of the fact that I'm a girl and shonen is more so grouped for boys. To me, these terms aren't causing people to turn away from it. I feel like it's more so the material that's in it that sometimes causes people to divert or turn away from it. Now, do I wish that more people will, of course, read more shoujo or read more shonen, regardless of whatever gender that they classify themselves as? Yes, I do, but I don't think that these terms need to change for people to do that. I feel like people are going to like what they're going to like, regardless of whatever demographic that particular manga is trying to reach. Just the same way how films are, where you see guys that enjoy romance, and of course you have girls that really enjoy action movies and so on and so forth. So I just want to throw that out there. So that's kind of like my own personal opinion on how I feel about it. Overall, though, like I said, this article was actually pretty interesting to read. And I understood both sides, and I understood where these people were coming from when it comes to maybe classifying them a little bit more in a more, not broader, but a more classified category. So that's a lot easier to recommend stuff. And I agree that should happen. But I also don't think, like I said, that it should happen industry-wide, and that the term shoujo, shonen, josei should, of course, still continue to exist. Because internet's out there, feel free to look it up. Just the same way how we all looked up the Taree categories, I hope I'm saying that correctly, that we all know from anime and of course from manga. So yeah, that's my thoughts about it. Of course, please comment below your thoughts, how you feel about this. I look forward to reading it. Like I said, this is my own personal opinion, so please be nice in the comments. Don't attack me in the comments for anything that I may have said. And of course, yes, I do know that there are some people out there that are non-binary and do not classify them as both either a boy or a girl. And so by no means am I saying that I'm leaving you guys out. That is the best way that I could classify the demographics that a lot of these mangas are basically trying to capture. So by no means am I trying to leave you guys out. But yeah, that's what I have for you guys. Like I said, comment below your thoughts. Of course, I have links down below to all my social media accounts. I have an Instagram, a Twitter, and of course a TikTok. So please feel free to check me out there. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And of course, please subscribe if you haven't already. I come out with new videos twice a week on Wednesdays and of course on Saturdays. So I'll see you guys soon with another video. All right, you guys, like I always tell you guys, stay positive, stay nerdy. And in today's day and age, stay healthy. And of course, please stay safe. All right, you guys.